Hello and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. Today I want to take a little bit of a break from C21. There is still some more to cover, but I want to cover something a little more lighthearted out of the States. It's kind of funny, but there's also some lessons to be learned from it. So let's have a look. This is video I understand from a traffic trial, and I'll offer some commentary and a little bit of sort of judicial official to layperson translation because one person in this doesn't seem to be getting it. So let's have a look at this.
So unless I'm mistaken, I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Oh, the unless I'm mistaken, and the tone there clearly is like, tell me I'm mistaken. Tell me this is not actually happening. You know, this is surreal. This should not be occurring. And notwithstanding the fact that a lot of stuff is happening now via video link, the courts very much have been clear that they expect a degree of decorum. They want people showing up, dressed for court, even though they're on a video link. They want people, not to be laying in bed. They want people not to be, doing the various things that you wouldn't otherwise do in court. And, this is kind of above and beyond, it's one thing if somebody's sort of laying in bed, with their laptop on their chest. This is something else. This is unheard of. So continuing on.
Or should I say Dr. Green, but I don't know that.
Okay, that's
So,
okay.
I kind of read this as the judge throwing a little bit of shade, I guess you're a doctor, but I mean, there's other possibilities here, could be a nurse, could be an orderly. I don't know exactly, who is dressed up how, especially in an American hospital. But I still read that as kind of throwing in a little bit of shade, and the doctor doesn't seem to be picking up on that. He's going, "Oh no, it's okay, you don't have to use my full formal title." Yeah, you're in danger, Mr. Green. This is the shark fin cresting the water. This is the court not being happy with us at all.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial, notwithstanding the fact that the officer's here today.
So I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
This is not a time to argue with the judge. I mean, the judge notes that the officer is in attendance, which is important because they're not going to be able to get a conviction in, it'd be difficult to imagine a circumstance where they could get a conviction without the testimony of the officer. And, sometimes people win traffic trials and other trials because key witnesses don't show up. So the witness being there is sort of an important indication that things should proceed. But, when the judge is saying, I don't think this is, this is good to go, that's not a time to argue. And, I think quite properly when the judge hears, oh, there's a second surgeon, he doesn't say, oh, fine, the other surgeon can go ahead. He says, no, that's not, because if they've got two surgeons, there's probably a reason to have two surgeons, right? This is a situation where you might be contemplating that something happens. And if he's not needed, if this is really that there's just an extra surgeon, you'd think he could just step into another room where he's free to talk, step out of his scrubs, and just appear, I'm sure he's got a suit there. That's been my experience, or at least a dress shirt. So yeah, this is unusual. Continuing on.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate. I think I'm going to come up with a different date when you're not actively involved or participating in attending to the needs of a patient.
You can see him struggling for words there. I guess you're attending to the needs of a patient. Yeah. I mean, there was real potential for this to have gone very badly. I don't know if this particular judicial official has contempt powers, but this seems like a situation where they might have been, where there might have been, a at least suggestion that they would have been used here. But the judge is saying, we'll pick another day. Like, this is not happening.
Let me see if I can get a different date here. So,
All right. So now I'm just kind of wondering what's going on here because, we hear that there's 2 surgeons. Well, either 2 surgeons are necessary and, this guy shouldn't be doing this. You should reschedule or 2 surgeons are not necessary, in which case, why is this guy showing up in full scrubs and, with this particular background? There's a couple of possibilities that occur to me. One is that sometimes people will go to court and they'll sort of wear the trappings of their station in life in ways that they feel might gain them an advantage. And where I usually see this, sometimes I've seen it with medical professionals, but usually I've seen it with military officials or military members of the military, where they'll show up for court in like full uniform. And sometimes that gets them, sometimes that might get them a little sympathy, but more often what I've seen is the court not being terribly appreciative of this. I have seen a judge who was military in the past choose somebody out for saying, when you show up here to plead out to your criminal offense dressed in full military gear, you're not making yourself look better, you're making the uniform look worse. And the judge chewed him out for a fairly lengthy period over that. So, it's a risky strategy. I don't recommend it. Suit and tie, everybody is indistinguishable, or a dress shirt. I've got a whole video on sort of dressing appropriately versus inappropriately. But so I wonder if there wasn't some aspect of, look at how important I am. And similarly, I wonder if there wasn't some aspect, and again, this is just purely conjecture, I don't know, but I wonder if there wasn't some aspect of perhaps an argument of, I was rushing to get to the hospital and that's why I, was speeding, running a stop sign, whatever the offense was, I'm not certain. And, saying, look how busy I am, I can't even take time out for this trial. I don't see that as a great move either. This behavior is so hard to explain. It's either a major lapse in judgment or it's some sort of power play, and I can't say which, but it doesn't go over well. I'm at a loss here. So don't do this. The courts are very much under the expectation right now that we're going to be following decorum. Even if you're appearing on video, suit and tie. I've done video appearances in court. It's been suit and tie. You want to show the court the same respect, even if you're not physically in the courthouse. Anyway, as much as this is a funny story, could you imagine if this had gone bad? If you hear in the background that this patient is starting to experience some sort of medical distress, and that suddenly this surgeon is torn between the trial and the patient. You wouldn't want to be that judge or, whatever sort of judicial official this is. You wouldn't want to be involved in that. Anyway, I think it's a commissioner here handled this quite well in terms of, being unwilling to go along with this, but I would have been tempted in his shoes to be a lot angrier and a lot more, we'll go with strident. So anyway, this is it's funny, but at the same time, it provides a lesson. Don't do this. The court's not going to have any patience for it. I understand later on in this recording, the court sort of admonishes him, make sure this next date goes into your calendar. Make sure it's booked off. Make sure there's not a patient in the room the next time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like this video. Please share it with your friends. Please subscribe to see more content. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level: D. Mo, Sir Daniel Wicks of Alberta, Canada's National Firearms Association, North Central Process Service, and Kyle Martin. At the $20 level, Cameron Johnson, Dale Nesbitt, Andrew Elsich, and Sights and Arms Limited, as well as a number of you at the $10 level who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you once again, and I hope this has armed you with knowledge.